Hello everybody, Lord Master of Sotek here, and today there's gonna be so many things happening. I'm probably not gonna release all of these videos in one day because that might be a little bloaty, but over the course of the coming days we'll be releasing tons of videos covering all of the various free LC along with plenty of streams that I'm going to be doing. But I just wanted to make a couple of videos covering changes to the various free LC characters that you're going to find in the game that are all very, very exciting. And if you can't tell by the thumbnail and the title and where I'm starting this video, we're going to be focusing for this one on Balthasar Gelt, because I really do feel like he is one of the best updated campaigns. So you can see here, for a starting army, pretty similar I think to what you used to get some great swords, swordsmen, crossbows, knights, and a Hellstorm rocket battery. But you can see here that his effects are quite different now. Instead of being heavily focused on engineering gimmicks, he is instead very heavily focused on magic gimmicks. So you get access to the Colleges of Magic, which gives you access to these new arcane essays. He also gains additional magic for every single wizard lord or hero in an army. Of course, the only wizard lord is Gelt himself, and I guess Elspeth von Draken if you were to confederate her. He also gives +2 recruit ranks for Battle Wizards faction wide, and then for his own personal army, he gets much cheaper access to spells from the Lore of Metal. Wizards gain experience very quickly, and he also gets bonus armor. And then you can see, as far as on the map, he starts over here in Cathay, which is super exciting because he's voyaged to the Far East to discover new arcane secrets and to face down the dangers of southern Cathay. So I'm going to go ahead and hop into a campaign, and I'm basically just going to take y'all through some of his early campaigns, some of the changes and cool things we'll look out for, and we'll kind of mess around with the various dilemmas and stuff. Try to make this video not too super crazy long, but just to kind of show you off all the stuff that you can be very excited to see coming up on the 30th, whether or not you buy the DLC, which is very exciting. So let's go ahead and hop in, and I'll see you guys on the other side. All right, welcome back everyone. And of course, you may have figured out by now, I'm not going to have my beautiful face on this video because I just want to be able to focus on showing off the new stuff to y'all and not block anything. So here you can see Balthasar Gelt is all about starting in Cathay. So you actually start with 0 territory. You do not have a home, you have to get one. But you do have one that's very obviously labeled out for you here, which is the Temple of the Elemental Winds, because the Burning Wind Nomads are your initial starting enemy. But you will note that you'll start right next to a settlement controlled by Zhao Ming, and he's actually friendly with you right off the bat. As far as the new mechanics go, let's go ahead and take a look at a couple things. So first, very obviously, the thing I'm sure you all want to see is the Colleges of Magic. So the Colleges of Magic is super awesome, exciting, and lovely, where you have all 8 of the Colleges of Magic here, which is super duper wonderful. And each of the Colleges of Magic has 3 things that you can do using arcane essays, as well as some items that you can unlock, which is very cool. Now, you may be looking at this and go, 8 colleges, but that means I need to have gold wizards. And that you do, but first we need to claim a settlement before we really dive into that. So, let's go ahead and grab Balthasar Gelt, which I will go ahead and show off his skill tree, just for anyone that wants to look for any changes. The big things coming to Gelt, I believe, is that his personal tree's been messed with a bit. So you've got Tempered Aura, which gives him better physical resistance, and the Tempered Aura ability, which is that as long as Gelt is not in melee, he gives all allies within 55 meters 15 additional armor, which is super amazing, especially once he gets on his Pegasus Quicksilver, because that means that you're going to be able to just buff armor by flying over your allies. You have Compounding Medicines, which is all about reducing chance of getting plague, reduces attrition chance, and gives you better healing, which is always wonderful. New Formulations, which is going to buff the hell out of your Hellstorm rocket batteries, which is very cool. The Golden Face Mask gives Gelt immune to psychology and even more armor. And then Will of the Patriarch makes it where all of your wizards start with another +2 recruit rank. So if you're playing Gelt, you also get your faction buff on top of that, which means all of your wizards are going to be starting at +4 recruit ranks. You also get plus 15% success chance on all their actions faction-wide, as well as cheaper hero costs. So if you're someone that's like me and you really like to spam lots of wizards so you can just spam steal technology to get through your tech tree very, very quickly, then this is a really good one to go with. And then, of course, Lore Master of Metal, which makes all of your metal spells cheaper and faster to cast. So those are the big changes to Gelt's skill tree. But we also have an Empire Captain, who you'll notice has a slightly more exciting skill tree now. Very cool. So the new things that he has is Sparring Practice, which at rank 10 gives him +3/+3 for melee attack and defense separately, as well as a +15 bonus versus infantry. Very cool. Then you get Guardian, which gives him +15 armor, and the Guardian passive, which is always wonderful and gives him a really nice job as protecting your characters. And then Killing Blow, which of course gives you the Killing Blow active ability. Then you get a choice. You can either do an Admired Man-at-Arms or an Admired Infantryman. If you do Admired Infantryman, you get this at rank 16. You get +3 melee attack and melee defense for all infantry units, and your melee infantry get -5% cheaper upkeep, which is really, really solid. However, if you're running more of a cavalry build, you can do Men-at-Arms, which will give you -5% upkeep for all melee cavalry and give you +5% speed and charge bonus for all cavalry. So they just have like a much nicer little niche that they're able to fulfill within your armies. They're, you know, with this little mini bonus tree they get, they can become significantly better combatants as well. So as far as how your campaign is going to start, obviously, as you can tell just by kind of looking at things, you're going to just immediately punch these guys into the dirt. Something you'll also notice that's new about the Empire. So you get arcane essays. So whenever you fight a battle that has wizards, you have wizards in the battle, you will gain arcane essays. And the more wizards you have in your army, the more arcane essays you get. And also, because of Gelt's faction ability, the more wizards you have in an army, the higher your maximum Winds of Magic power reserve. So it's actually pretty worth having multiple wizards in an army. At least 2, but sometimes even more. But you'll notice that there is a new option down here for the Empire. The Empire can now take on captives. So basically, you will always have the ability to choose this, which allows you to heal your units instead of just either choosing to get experience or money, which is going to make your armies, you know, quite a bit more durable. So we're just going to go ahead and sort of fast move our way through this. And we've conquered the Temple of the Elemental Winds, which opens our first dilemma. Now, all of the dilemmas that have to do with Zhao Ming, they're all focused on Zhao Ming. And you always get, I think, at least 3 options. And generally, they revolve around how things are going with the Burning Wind Nomads, with the last one happening once you wipe them out. So this says, Zhao Ming, the Iron Dragon of the Western Provinces, thanks you for your aid in protecting their southern border from the Burning Wind Nomads while he deals with the dissenters to the north. He requests further aid to continue pushing them back. So, you have some options here. You can either agree to help, where it says the Iron Dragon could be a powerful local ally should we decide to establish a longer-term foothold here, in which you embrace the alchemy bromance. This would give you a welcoming people, which gives you better control, and also gives you better local recruitment capacity, and also makes Zhao Ming much happier with you, improving your diplomatic relations. And you get some note here that word of your efforts thwarting the troublesome dissidents has spread. The locals are appreciative of your stewardship over their lands. So this basically allows you to build up your alliance with Grand Cathay. However, you could demand supplies, which states that the Golden Order does not offer its help without recompense. If we are to help the Cathayans, they must provide us with immediate supplies to fortify our position. So this makes it where you don't get the temporary buff, but more importantly, you also don't get as strong of a bromance with Zhao Ming. However, you do immediately kick this area to tier 2, which can be very nice if you're trying to establish a strong foothold and remain more neutral. And then you can just decline, which is that we are not here to make friends. The wealth of this land is ours for the taking. The rebels will be dealt with if they happen to get in our way. So if you want to kind of go the route of the invader, of the tyrant, Balthasar Gelt, you can just choose to piss off Zhao Ming, which will immediately give you some lovely money, but Zhao Ming will remember this. and it's also going to hurt your diplomacy with the Western provinces. I will include a little clip at the end kind of showing the various results if you continue to piss off Zhao Ming. But for now, why don't we agree to help him? So we're going to make Zhao Ming a little happier with us. And you'll notice that the Temple of the Elemental Winds has a new landmark building for the Empire. It actually has 2. So first, you get the Diplomatic Halls, which gives you plus 10 diplomacy with Grand Cathay, plus 25 growth, and allows you to immediately recruit swordsmen and pistoliers without needing to build the training field or the target dummy. So basically, it allows you to just cut straight to recruiting some pretty useful units against Cathayan armies. The level 2 version gives you even more growth and gives you further diplomacy buffs with Grand Cathay. And then the last one, which is pretty critical to a Gelt campaign, you'll notice there's a gold wizard. Yep, free LC gold wizard. Just kind of snuck in there, didn't he? Very exciting. So we have all 8 of the wizards. They're finally all here. Now we just need lords at some point. This is a very expensive building, but what it gives you is mastery of the elemental winds to all wizards for all armies. It also allows you to just freely recruit battle wizards without needing to build a college of magic in this province. And then you also get 20 arcane essays per turn. And you'll notice that the normal colleges building isn't even available in this settlement because you've got this other building instead. But this building is critical, in my opinion, for a Gelt campaign, unless your goal is just to get home as soon as possible, which is a viable strategy. So, what I'm going to do at this point is let's go ahead and hire the Gold Wizard just to take a look at him, because I'm sure you're all very eager to see him.
Gold Wizard.
So we've got the Gold Wizard with his beautiful mask here, and he's got all sorts of like alembics and alchemical devices moved into his staff. He's got like a little curved ritual dagger. He's a really fun looking character. And one thing you'll notice about the wizards, which is particularly exciting, is that the wizards also have a unique tree, just like the little captain does, just to make them a little more thematic and fun. So for the wizards, what's fun about them is that 3 of the skills you get on every single wizard, regardless of what college they are. But 2 of them, actually technically all of them, these 4 are pretty much the exact same, regardless of what the wizard's college is. But the last ability will always be unique to that college. So for instance, Star Student, they're all going to have it, which gives you cooldown reduction and miscast reduction chance. Great. Lord's Counselor, always going to be the exact same on all the wizards, which is just how good of an advisor they are. So it makes them better at heroic actions and boosting income. Really good. Gold Scholar, obviously this would change to be whatever college they're from. So like Amethyst Scholar or Death Scholar, or, Celestial Scholar, whatever. And that would makes them get cheaper spells and also more winds of magic. Battle Hardened, they all get as well, which just makes it where they're faster and they have a little bit more armor, so they're a little tankier. But then this ability is always unique depending on what college they're from. So the Gold Wizards get Tempered Aura, which is what Balthasar Gelt gets on his tree as well. So you get the Tempered Aura ability right here, where they grant armor to nearby allies as long as they're not in combat. And all of the colleges have something unique as well. So because this guy kind of just does what Gelt does, I am not interested in having him really in my army. I would rather him be annoying and go steal lots of technology for me. So I'm going to send him off to go steal tech for Daddy. Meanwhile, we're going to... also, this is the other thing that's unique to Gelt, a new skill he gets, that you get a Dilemma skill, which is that you can do Hardened Shot, which buffs all of your gunnery infantry, or Hardened Blades, which buffs all of your melee infantry. So just depending on how you want to build Balthasar Gelt. But for right now, I'm just going to go ahead and pick up some new spells, and we're going to have our captain go ahead and start working on training our boys to make them a little more good at fighting. We're going to start building the diplomatic halls, and goody, we still have some arcane tomes. Now you may wonder, well, what's this ability do? So you have transmutation, which transmutation allows you to just transform your basically transform your arcane essays into gold, which is fantastic. So you can just immediately create gold. You also get compelled corrosion, which allows you to pick an enemy army and you just give them you pick a gold wizard, and it makes it where all enemy forces in the same region as that gold wizard's army, in this case like Balthasar Gelt, have minus 30 armor for 2 turns, which is fantastic. Now you may look down here and be like, ooh, what are these things? Well, first you have your Guinness Gold Globe, so you have your Cataclysm spell. So what's interesting, so Metal Magisters makes Winds of Magic cost for metal spells cheaper faction wide. You'll notice this one is locked to Gelt as well as these 2. Gelt, of course, being the patriarch of the Gold College, has unique interactions with the Gold College, whereas the rest of them are kind of a little bit more open. But we have that Balthasar Gelt can get the Robes of the Supreme Patriarch, which is a new unique item, which gives him another +2 ranks for Battle Wizards, which means that his Battle Wizards would be starting a minimum at rank 7. If you combine that with his skill tree upgrade and his trait upgrade for his faction, and that's before you look at the new tech tree, which we'll look at in a moment. In addition, it also gives you melee defense, fire resistance, and immunity to contact effects, which is very nice. And then you can also get the Shaman Kurtana, which this is a new magic weapon that you can give to Gelt that gives him melee attack, magical attacks, and makes transmutation of lead much cheaper to cast. So with these, you can functionally get Gelt to having a unique purple item in every single one of his item slots, which is really sexy. So Gelt's got all sorts of goodies. So what can the other colleges do? Well, let's take a look. So obviously this is, you can summon an Amethyst Wizard. Shyish Storm is that if an Amethyst Wizard is joined to your army, you can use this ability on that army, and it makes it where all enemy forces in the same region take a bunch of damage. So it's not attrition, it's just a kaboom that deals damage, which is really nice. Ashes and Dust grants access to the Cataclysm spell, where that to an army that has a Shyish Wizard in it, which is fantastic. So that gives you access to a Cataclysm spell. You also can get the Hourglass of the Shyish Sands, which can only be given to a Shyish Wizard, but it gives them cheaper access to Spirit Leech, so it makes Spirit Leech much easier to use, and also gives them Last Rites, which Last Rites will literally give them infinite magic, because it gives them reserves per second and power recharge as a permanent buff for every kill they make. So if you get enough kills with him, he will literally generate just infinite magic over the course of the battle, which is crazy. And then Amethyst, this one just makes it where your death spells are cheaper to cast. Fire, get more Bright Wizards. The Bright Key allows you to target a Bright Wizard that is attacking a settlement, and it immediately busts open a bunch of holes in the wall and it burns all their defensive supplies. So they don't get any towers, they don't get any barricades. If you're like, man, sieges, I hate those towers and those barricades or whatever, Bright Wizards are like, I got you, fam, which is absolutely amazing. Magma Storm, of course, gives you access to the Cataclysm spell, and the unique item they get is the Torch Staff of Wrath, which makes it so that all of their attacks deal the burnt condition, which lowers enemy leadership and gives them flaming attacks and makes Cascading Fire Cloak cheaper to cast and also faster cooldown. And then, of course, the cheaper spells. For the Celestial College, you get Celestial Scrying, which immediately regenerates all the action points of that army. So you can move your army and use all of their movement points so that they're like, oh man, I can't move anymore. But you can use Celestial Scrying on an army that has a Celestial Wizard in it to immediately recharge it, just like you were playing like Tic-Tac-Toe, for instance. Thorsten Thunderstorm gives you access, of course, to the Cataclysm spell. And the Astrolabe of Tomorrow's Moon gives you a 50% defense chance against ambushes and also gets you a much cheaper Comet of Consandora, which is fantastic. Then you have the Jade Order, who have Restoration, which is you pick an army with a Jade Wizard and they instantly heal to full health. Storm of Renewal gives you access to the Cataclysm spell, and the unique item they get is the Oaken Sickle of Gyran, which makes Regrowth much cheaper to cast for that wizard and also vastly increases the healing cap of the army he joins by 20%. For the Amber Order, you get Call of the Wild, which is so goddamn cool. So this is something I've been heavily recommending for them to find a way to add into the game in various ways, and I'm so glad they did it. It allows you to summon an incarnate elemental of beasts into that wizard's army. So even though the Empire cannot recruit incarnate elementals of beasts except through allied recruitment, this gives your beast wizards the ability to just summon one onto the battlefield, which is absolutely amazing. I love this. And you get to summon 3 of them, which is just very spooky. And you get Mercu's Monstrous Regiment, which is, of course, the Cataclysm spell. And then for his unique item, you get the Cloak of Anrahir, which makes him cause terror, gain physical resistance, and the Cloak of Anrahir makes it so that the wizard removes fear and terror from all enemies within 35 meters, which is very, very hilarious, because that basically means your wizard just, like, jumps into the fray and is like, haha, no, screw you. You don't get any of your benefits, and I get all mine, which is just super duper fun. So your wizard gets to be absolutely horrifying against fear and terror causers. And then the Light Order gives you Barrier of Light, which grants you the Zinch barrier mechanic onto the Light Wizard's army. So they all get 200 bonus hit points that recharges when they're not in melee combat. Time Amok, which is of course the big buff spell. And then Amulet of Refraction is the unique item you get, which gives you a permanent 250 barrier hit points. So your wizard is much better at essentially having regenerating health. But then you get Redirecting Aura, which is insane. So this is a 55 meter buff debuff aura that makes it where if your wizard is flying over enemy missile troops, whenever they shoot, all of their projectiles will be reflected back at them. So it's like the Regiment of Renown for Cathay, the big Terracotta Sentinel. That's hilarious on a light wizard, because you just slap that dude on a Pegasus, fly him into the middle of the enemy shooting, and just cackle as they all just obliterate themselves, because it's going to be hilarious. So amazing item. And then of course the Grey Wizards, you get Mass Concealment, which we talked about in the blog, if you went and saw that video, which gives you Stalking Stance for that Grey Wizard's army. It also gives you an additional 100% success chance, which is basically means it's guaranteed. Dance of Despair being the spell, and then the Grey Wand is the unique item, which gives you a very cheap Penudral Pendulum, makes it basically impossible for you to miscast unless there's like a crazy enemy effect going on, and also makes all shadow spells faster to cast. Now, something else you may have noticed if you had a keen eye is that the Cataclysm spells have been reworked. I shit you not. So for instance, Dance of Despair, you can see it used to just be a pretty basic, like, I think it was like minus melee attack and melee defense, but it was kind of boring. Now it's a massive leadership debuff. It lasts for 45 seconds, and it gets rid of anything that would make you not possible to break from combat. So it removes Undead, it removes Construct, it removes Unbreakable, Demonic, and Elemental. So basically it says, no, screw you, you are gonna break, you are gonna run for your life, get fucked, which I think is just super cool. For the Light College, Time Amok has been buffed, so it used to, I think, just be like a speed and charge bonus buff, and maybe a melee attack. Now it is a infinite range. Think about that. Map wide, 45 seconds, all enemies cannot move. Oh my good God. Meanwhile, allies get a 40% speed bonus and a 20% charge bonus. That is insane. That is insane. It's so strong. It's so strong. The Amber Order, Monstrous Regiment, now lasts for it affects, it has one ally that it can affect. So, you know, you select one ally to be affected by it. However, that ally for 2 minutes, which is a very long time, for 2 minutes gets plus 50% to all forms of melee damage, plus 40 melee attack, and plus 20% physical resistance. So you pick just a moderately half-decent unit, and they are going to become fucking gods of war upon the battlefield, curb stomping everyone that they come across. Storm of Renewal now has a 55 meter radius, lasts for 20 seconds, so it's going to heal 20% of your max HP. It also will basically restore your vigor to absolute, like, max. So you'll notice though that it has this one, if anything's been debuffed a little bit. So you'll notice that it has been restricted a little in that the allies that it hits have to be on the ground. So if you have flying creatures, you need to make sure you ground them before you activate Storm Renewal, or it's not going to affect them. Thorsten's Thunderstorm now just has way more fucking projectiles. It lasts for 32 seconds and it shoots 60 goddamn lightning bolts and deals pure armor piercing damage with lots of explosives. It's gonna hurt. Magma Storm now lasts for 14 seconds, but it conjures up a vortex that just vomits out a bunch of other vortexes to just make everything like a fucking giant mess. So it creates a 20-meter vortex that deals damage per second. So it creates a vortex that deals a lot of damage, but that vortex will then proceed to vomit out 60 projectiles over the course of 12 seconds, which is very impressive. That is gonna hurt like a motherfucker. Ashes and Dust now lasts for 11 seconds, but phase 1, which lasts for 10 seconds, deals a pretty good amount of damage. It's kind of more like a very strong Spirit Leech, but if you're still in it when phase 2 goes off, you're basically just dead. Like 1250 to 2500 damage over 1 second. Yeah, you know, get curb stomp, son. And then for Gelt, you get the glowing orb, a golden orb, which is now, I think it's a little bigger, maybe moves faster or something. I'd have to mess around with it in game, but it's functionally very similar. So there's all that. Now the last thing I'm going to show you, you know what? Let's do the tech tree. You know what? Let's just do the tech tree. It's fine. So here's the new Empire tech tree. It's amazing. Look how full it is. So to just break it down very simple, you know what? No, I will focus on this, I think, in its own separate video. I want to focus more on Gelt for now. So I'm going to go ahead and leave and come back to y'all here in just a little bit to show off the next dilemma and kind of what we did to trigger it, and then we'll go from there. So I'll see you guys in just a moment. So welcome back. You can see here that I have triggered the second of the 3 dilemmas, which says the Burning Wind Nomads have been successfully pushed back across the Great Canal. Zhao Ming, the Iron Dragon of the Western Provinces, asks for your continued assistance by advancing across the waterway and dealing the final blow to the dissidents. So we can either agree to help, where it says the Iron Dragon could be a powerful local ally should we decide to establish a longer-term foothold here, which of course will give us a nice buff to construction cost reduction and growth for 5 turns, which is very, very nice. As it mentions, your continued offensive against the rebels up to the Great Canal provides some much-needed security, allowing you to help the Cathayans rebuild these lands. And also further buffs with Dragon Daddy. Then we've got for a price, which says, whatever the outcome with the rebels, this is a valuable opportunity to bolster the Gold College's libraries with the knowledge of the Cathayan alchemists, which could give you a whole bunch of arcane essays, or you can decline. Which is the same as last time, where Zhao Ming will remember this and you'll get more money. Once again, though, for the sake of this video, I'm going to agree to help. Though I will, of course, show you the ones where we piss off Zhao Ming. So you can see, basically, to trigger this, you just capture this entire province. So once you take Fu Heng by capturing the province and pushing the nomads to the, basically across the canal, that's when you trigger the second event. And the last event, if you couldn't guess, will trigger once we completely exterminate the Burning Wind Nomads. So I will see you all in just a minute as we get towards that final event for this particular video. All right, and we have come to the end of this little showcase for Gelt with the final little event here, where we have defeated the rebellion. So with the rebels defeated, Zhao Ming sends his thanks for your assistance in dealing with them in his absence. He now formally requests the safe return of Cathay's lands to its rightful owners. So you can do negotiate mutual benefits, which gives you persuade Zhao Ming to allow you to stay as a protector of these lands to help him defend the southern border. He will reserve the right to remove you by force should you act against his interests, which gives you my alchemical romance, which is a wonderful event name. This says the Iron Dragon and the Supreme Patriarch have much common ground in matters of alchemy, and now with matters of state, which gives you a bunch of bonuses with Grand Cathay, and you get an immediate defensive alliance. So this buff is actually really nice because it gains you allegiance points very quickly, so that you can start recruiting Cathayan units into your Empire armies, which is awesome. You also get a ton of arcane essays, which is absolutely wonderful if you want to have those for reasons. You can also refuse, which is these regions were neglected by the Iron Dragon, so we'll stay under our stewardship whether Cathay likes it or not, which is going to really piss him off. Or you could do return the land, which is that this excursion has been a successful endeavor in improving our relations with the East, but matters back home are of greater importance. And you get a ton of money. All of your forces are teleported back to the Empire, and you get a triumphant homecoming, which says a fruitful expedition has secured new opportunities between the Empire and Grand Cathay. In reward, the Golden Order is granted the key to the Empire, which makes it where you get 10 turns of basically like insane campaign movement, 100% upkeep reduction, immune to any forms of immune to attrition for not having a home province because you're going to give up all your territory, and immediate population surplus bonuses, as well as no diplomatic penalties for trespassing because you have to find a new home. So for the sake of this video, I am going to normally I would probably do the negotiate mutual benefits, but I'm going to do return the land just to show you what it looks like. So when I click this option, you can see that I immediately lose control of the entirety of the territory I've been building up, including those really lovely landmark structures. So those are gone now, which is kind of oh no. But I have gone home, and it sent everything back. So I even had some heroes that were like over here, and they got teleported as well. The other thing I wanted to show you real quick though is you do get access to another unique location for the Empire, which is nice. You can get access to the Standing Stones, which is really cool for the Empire, at Shyama's Rest, which gives you growth research rate bonuses against like evil factions, quote unquote, which is really nice. But back home in the Empire, if you read the blog, you may have noted that it mentions, and you can see here is my hero that teleported back. It has mentioned that if you go home, you can actually get access to Empire mechanics that you normally don't have access to by taking some Empire territory. So for the sake of this little showcase, I'm going to go ahead and just speed up time very rapidly here and take Carroburg just to show you what that looks like. But as far as like really delving into the new mechanics of the Empire overall, so like the overall changes of the tech tree, province commandments, those kinds of things, I am going to save those for the video we're going to be doing on Karl Franz, which will probably be out the same day as this video, so be sure to go check that out if you haven't already. But here you can see I'm going to run into to clear one of the greenskins. I'm going to take Carroburg for myself. And by doing so, boom, I immediately have gained access to Imperial Authority. So now I am involved in the Imperial Authority system, which is super awesome, and I'll talk about that more in the Karl Franz campaign. So that's how you go home. But in any event, I hope this was interesting, and you got to enjoy seeing what Balthasar Gelt's going to be bringing to the table. I think he has a fantastic campaign. I know for me personally, I'm probably never going to go home to the Empire for that option. But before I end this video, I will go ahead and show you what happens if you choose all the negative results. And that will be the end. So I'll see you in just a moment. All right, welcome back, folks. And you can see here that, so I ended up picking all of the quote-unquote evil options, where I basically just kept throwing stuff back in Zhao Ming's face. And by doing so, I've unlocked a fourth option on the final thing, which is Claim for the Empire. That states, what began as an act of good faith has revealed the bounties that these lands hold for us. For the Empire! You have friend turned foe. Grand Cathay shall be another frontier for the Empire's conquests. Which basically makes all of Grand Cathay hate you, but you get some pretty serious buffs against them for 10 turns to really kind of give you a boost on your initial invasion. Though funny enough, you still have the other options, even if you've just been kind of punching Zhao Ming in the face constantly. But, you know, so there's a little fun thing. If you want to truly play the Western ally turned conqueror turned traitor, that is an option that you have, which I think is super duper cool. So with causing just absolute havoc and insanity in Grand Cathay. At the end of this, the last thing that I'll show you as part of the Gelt campaign is how the so for the tech tree, I'm going to go into depth on the tech tree with Karl Franz, but there are two portions of it that are not available to Karl Franz because all of the Empire characters have a slight difference, which is that for most of the characters, there's a little unique section here, which is just 2 techs. For Gelt, it's the Supreme Patriarch tree. You get College Archives as the first one, which gives you plus 10% extra arcane essays for all battles. And then Cataclysmic Power, which makes it so all of your Cataclysm spells get 2 uses per battle instead of only 1 use per battle, which is quite powerful. And then the State Troops tech series, this is not available to Karl Franz because he has the electoral, the elector count system. Basically, it's you pay 7,500 gold and it gives you access to recruiting the various elector count troops. And this is available to the characters that just don't have access to them through their normal campaign mechanics, which is basically everybody but Franz. So you can see here, I can get, by doing Swords of the Empire, I get Swordsmen and Caribou Greatswords. Spears gives me Eldred's Guard and Nordland Mariners. Marksman gives me the Stir River Patrol and Gunderman Surefires. Knights of the Empire gives me the Knights of More, the Knights of the Everlasting Light, and the Stubborn Bulls. Riders of the Empire gives me the Noble Sons Abroad and the Bordermen. And Machines of the Empire gives me access to Suitzen's guns and the Emperor's Wrath, being a steam tank. So everything else is available for all the other characters, so I'll take a more of an in-depth look at those with Karl Franz, just in the interest of keeping this video not to be crazy long compared to the others. So I hope you all enjoyed this little showcase of Gelt. Please do let me know what you think about the new Gelt campaign down below. As a final little goodie, let me just actually show you. So we talked about earlier how the Metal Wizard had that unique tech at the end of his personal tree. So here you can see for the Death Wizard, it's the same exact text, right? Until you get to the end, where instead of having that one buff that gives armor to nearby allies, Unsettling Radiance instead lowers the healing cap of enemies by 10% in the same region and makes this wizard cause fear. Whereas my Heavens Wizard gets Guided by the Stars, which gives ambush defense chance, campaign line of sight, and campaign movement range. So you can see there's just a lot of little fun things you're able to get with the various wizards. You know, if I grab a quick Bright Wizard, you can see you get Controlled Anger, which gives the Bright Wizard flammable attacks, which is, you know, makes enemies take more damage from fire, which is really solid, and also gives fire resistance to your army. You can also get from the Life Wizard Nature's Blessing, which gives the wizard immunity to contact effects and increases the heal cap of your army, which is really, really nice. And then for the Beast Wizard, the Amber Wizard, you get Kettle's Call, which allows you to summon a unit of giant hawks, which are from the essentially from like the Wood Elf Drycher rosters. You can summon a unit of giant hawks, which is really fucking awesome. And then from the Grey Wizard,
What do you seek? I order
you get Into the Shadows, which gives you ambush success chance, slippery, and stalk. And of course, I realize you might be sitting there going, well, what about the Light Wizard, Sotek? I want to see the Light Wizard. To which I say, give me half a second while I load up this other campaign I was doing, which is the one where I was not stabbing Zhao Ming in the back. And this will allow us to take a look at what the Light Wizard brings as his kind of unique skill. But as I was saying, hopefully you enjoyed this. Please do check out the other videos I'm going to be putting out in this week period, such as the reaction to the blog, and I'll be doing a video that covers all the changes of the Empire, mostly focused on Karl Franz, but in that video I'll also include some little snippets about other relevant characters. Last but certainly not least, we got the Light Wizard here with Shining Resilience, which gives Aura of Protection, which is just a flat 10% ward save as long as you have at least 15 winds of magic, which is very, very solid, and -2 corruption locally. So all of your wizards have a fun, unique gimmick, which is really, really cool. So with that, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you around. Take care.